Thank you.
Okay, I call the meeting, the full meeting to order.
Excellent. Let us begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I will read the top of the agenda. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being broadcast at a later date over the Lunenburg Public Access Channel. This meeting will be broadcast at a later date through the local access cable channel and on the public access Facebook page, and will be found on the Lunenburg Access YouTube channel within 24 hours after the meeting. The agenda lists all of the topics which may be discussed at the meeting and are those reasonably anticipated by the chair. Votes may be taken as a result of these discussions. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by open meeting law. And we did our call to order and Pledge of Allegiance. Is there anybody here for public comment?
Hello, Brian Leighton, 88 Beachview Road. I'm also a member of the Select Board, and I'm here on official business from the Select Board as the school committee liaison. At last night's Select Board meeting, we voted to approve sending a letter to the tri-board members, so I'm here to also read that letter. I sent a copy of the letter to the chair as well as the superintendent to disperse to the members as well. Dear fellow tri-board members, the purpose of this letter is to strengthen communication within the tri-board to support clear budgeting, better coordination, and improved public trust. Effective collaboration is essential to our town's success. As we approach budget season, it is important that we have timely access to accurate information. Clear and consistent communication is vital to our collective decision-making, the integrity of the processes, and the trust of our community. The Select Board would like to address communication issues among our committees that became apparent leading up to last month's special town meeting. Information naturally evolves in the weeks preceding any town meeting, and the recent special town meeting was no exception, with details and motion language being finalized up until the meeting. While we all strive to provide information well in advance, circumstances may prevent us from meeting that ideal, making it challenging for everyone involved. In the weeks preceding the special town meeting, a substantial amount of information was distributed to us by the town manager through town email. However, statements made in public forums and discussions among committee members suggested that some members may have not seen these communications, creating the impression that information was not provided. The Select Board is also concerned that there may be an increasing reliance on social media platforms such as Facebook for updates and discussions. While such platforms can enhance community engagement, they are not official sources of information and may inadvertently contribute to the spread of inaccurate or incomplete details. To address these challenges, the Select Board supports the following measures and encourages all tri-board members to do the same. Monitor and respond to town email consistently. Utilize appointed liaisons as intended to coordinate information between committees. Review recordings of any missed meetings to remain fully informed. Prioritize official town communication channels over social media for committee-related information. The Select Board welcomes additional recommendations from committee members to further strengthen communication and transparency across the tri-board. The Select Board remains committed to openness, transparency, collaboration, and effective governance. We value the efforts of every tri-board member and look forward to continued collaboration to best serve the residents of Lunenburg. Thank you.
Can I ask the Select Board member a question?
Technically, it's public comment.
Okay. So no.
So no.
Okay, can we talk about that in a minute?
Yes. You can make a public comment in response.
Okay, that's fine. But I can't ask him a question?
No.
This is exactly why people can't communicate. Can I just, like, for the record,
the fact that the select board just presented to us a problem that they have with the way that we're operating, and me and my good friend, Brian Layton, who I know well, cannot have a conversation about it in a public forum right now. This is not a comment to the chair or to the select board or to the superintendent, but I just want to, if anyone heard that comment and has questions about it, so do I. But obviously the way that the open meeting law is constructed does not allow me and Brian to have that conversation right now in front of everyone. So I'm sorry to the folks who are sitting in front of us, but it's asinine. I mean, honestly, excuse my language, it's asinine.
Agreed.
Thank you, okay.
No problem.
Hi, Nancy.
Sorry.
How are you?
Good.
Bizarre.
I'm leaving real soon.
Right?
Good evening, Superintendent Dr. Fortuna and school committee members. My name is Nancy Charbonneau, and I live on Arbor Street in Lunenburg. Thank you for your time and your effort that you put into helping the Lunenburg students. I recently sent emails to Dr. Fortuna and Mr. Scullenbren, school committee chair, asking for some current reading information, and want to thank both Dr. Fortuna and Mr. Scullenbren for taking the time to respond to my emails and thoughtfully answering questions about the reading levels for the elementary school students. I also want to thank Mrs. Sarday for her response and opening up the conversation about literacy. As we know, reading is a skill that is necessary for students to be successful in their academics and in their future careers. As a community member, as a parent of a student that graduated from Lunenburg schools, and as an educator myself, I am concerned about the current reading levels in Lunenburg, and am interested in partnering with you and the schools in any way that I can support you. At a future meeting, can you share with the parents and the community the systems that you currently have in place to help the students close the gaps in reading for those students that are either well below or below the reading levels? And secondly, at a future meeting, can you share information on how you're implementing the Tier 1 reading support so that hopefully we can prevent as many students from falling behind in reading as they have, now and since the time of COVID? Those are my most important questions. And then how can community members like myself partner with the schools to assist in helping the students and their literacy skills? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Respond to you.
Okay.
Hi everyone, I hope everyone is having a great night tonight. My name is Myra, and I was actually as well in the last meeting before. I live in Lunenburg, in Arbor Street. And I am a parent of 2 children that are currently attending school in Lunenburg, one at the primary school and the other one at Turkey Hill. First, I wanted to thank you so much for all you do for our kids. I just wanted to mention that I am here to support my children and take accountability and to do what is necessary to help them succeed. I make sure to help them with reading at home and other materials regarding school. My first grader is currently below the desired reading level. However, I have been in touch with his teacher, and she shared that he's getting some reading help, which I very much appreciated. While my child is getting the reading support he needs, I am concerned that not all students who qualify intervention are currently able to access it. I wanted to bring this forward in a spirit of collaboration and advocacy for all learners. And I really want to thank you all of you for all you do for the students.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Is there any other public comment? Dawn, come on down.
You know, this is my least favorite thing, speaking in public. Hi, Dawn
You're
Guerin.
a teacher.
But that's different. It's the kids, it's entertainment. I have fun and I love this topic, I don't love this topic. So Dawn Guerin, I don't know if I'm supposed to say where I live and all that sort of stuff, but 9 Crescent Terrace, and I've been here 32 years. I've had many, many different roles within the school and the community, and I'd like to continue that. I'm here, my big goal is to make the point that the athletic director job needs to be full-time. I'm living the nightmare of having 2 full-time jobs, a full-time job being cut. And then I could be expected to do both of those full-time jobs. I'm lucky enough that I don't have to. Okay, that greenhouse job was a full-time job at some point. Athletic director job, holy cow, I can't even believe that Shanina is doing an amazing job that she's doing, and I know that from a coach's perspective because I coached this fall with her, and seamless. And then also from the educator's perspective, she's at school doing a great job also. And that, again, I feel bad for her because it's almost inhumane of what's going on because of the hours. And so, I'm supporting her as doing a great job, but I'm also, my big shout out is about it needs to be a full-time job. So how does it affect me as a coach when the AD's not there in the morning? I don't want to reach out to them because they've been there since 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock that night. So I struggle as a coach to get what I need when I need it. As an educator, thank God we have 2 other administrators that are helping pull up the slack, which is unfortunate for them also, getting more stuff dumped on them. But I can't touch base with her until she gets into school. So again, not her fault. Thank God at least they have their schedule adjusted, but it's too much for one person. And if you know anything about that job, it is a full-time job. The fires that you put out every day with parents, kids, coaches alone is a nightmare. The budget, the gym, the fields, the transportation, the weather, it's amazing how much has to get done in one day. And in the past, they've tried to have it be an educator, 2/5 teaching and 3/5. Oh my God, those poor kids that had that person for a teacher, they were out of school like 70 different days. Missed class 70 different days. How is that fair to the kids? So you've got a great person working her tail off doing, I'm saying, a great job at both of those because she would never not do a great job. So I'm here to support. I know we need paras, I know we need this, I know we need that, but sports are a big part of kids' lives. I support that, I grew up that way, but more importantly, if we lose sports around here, we lose a lot of great kids. A lot of our great students that are great athletes will be long gone. So we can't afford to lose any more students. Any questions for me? It's just a public comment, I guess not.
We're super
We
thankful.
can't answer, we can't
Okay,
ask questions.
thank you,
No, I'm just
thank you
kidding.
for listening. I'm supposed to be a minute, I didn't,
I'm just-
yep, no, but thank you for all you do
Hi,
also.
Thank you so much, it was good to see you. We're not allowed to ask questions.
Any other public comments?
Sorry, I'm in a mood.
Anybody online? All right, then we will move on to the chair's report. So the only thing I have for chair's report is that on December 7th, I received an email from George. George indicated that he was having a change in his job, and so that he was no longer going to be able to be on school committee. And so anybody, including people that just made comments, that is interested in being on school committee, they should let either Dr. Fortuna or I know. There's a process under the town charter for how the people would be appointed. We are looking for people that are willing to do a lot of work, that are interested in the school and the town. We also want to try to find people that have different perspectives. And I think that, having everybody have the same perspective makes for harmonious meetings, but maybe not the best decision-making process. So if you think you want to do it, you should let one of us know. I will tell you that George's seat is a 3-year seat. And so it would be a 3-year, essentially 2.5-year commitment because he started in June.
It would be until the next election.
Oh, it is?
According to the town.
Okay. So if you're interested, please feel free to reach out to one of us. If you have any questions, you can ask anybody on school committee. They can tell you the work that it involves. And I'm happy to talk to people. If you know somebody that you think we should contact, I'm even soliciting on that level. So please, please, please reach out to us. That's the end of the chair's report. We have no student representative, so, wait, you don't have a report? You didn't?
No, I have a report.
It's down at the bottom.
Oh. Can we move your report to here?
Yes.
Okay.
We are invited to comment.
Oh, sorry, public comment, go ahead.
want to point out that as a member of the school committee, I do not get any communications, a lot of the communications that allegedly have been happening. So I don't know what's going on, whether only the chair gets this communications, but, and it could be because of the open meeting law, but Mr. Leighton, the stuff that I think you're referencing, I knew nothing, there was no email, I check my town email regularly, and I got nothing about it. So we can have further conversations about that, but I just think that that the select board should know that that is, you know, right? And I don't know if the chair's only getting it because that has to be the way that it happens, or that's because,
So I think the email in question was an email that was sent to Dr. Fortuna and I, and the email indicated that the select board had taken a vote about Kids Kingdom and that we wanted to weigh in. For whatever reason, I missed it, as did Dr. Fortuna. What I said at the town hall floor was basically that we had not been consulted, which is true, because the vote had taken place, and the email went out after the vote. So, that's it.
okay. And I have sympathy for the chair and for other people on this panel. While in a perfect world, I would watch every meeting that occurs in this town, it is very difficult to keep up with the select board, the finance committee, come to school committee meetings, be a parent, have a job, and do all that kind of stuff. And as you can see, we're not exactly flush up here with members. So I just think that, you know, the reality of having to watch every meeting that has to go with the schools, I will be brutally honest with you, it does not happen. The school committee meetings I watch some of the select board meetings at times too, because that's the time that I have to watch it. I cannot keep up with all the finance committee meetings. I'm sorry. And if people want to talk about that, I'm happy to talk about that offline, but I'm just being honest.
I think the intention, having watched the meeting where this communication was drafted, and Mr. Leighton, you can nod if I'm correct in this, was that if you miss your committee meeting,
Yeah.
that you watch that to be caught up. Not
Okay.
that you watch the
I do that.
select meeting every
Okay.
finance.
I mean, I try to watch the selectmen meeting, I really do, but that's not an easy.
No.
I think the reality
It was implied that we should be caught up on all of it.
Yeah.
No, it is really just the intention, if you miss a school committee meeting, you watch that school committee.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. I just,
Yeah.
the way that it was presented
And
seems
Brian
different.
nodded, so.
Yeah.
It was presented to the tri-board, not to the school committee.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
if that
okay,
makes-
Gotcha.
okay. Thank you, I appreciate your time, Brian.
I mean, I would say what Carol told me when I first joined, she's like, you're a volunteer, you have other things in your life, do your best.
Yeah, and I think.
That's like.
Well, and I mean, I think I know that everyone who's sitting up here and Laura, we are doing our best. I have, full faith that we are doing the best we can do. So I just felt compelled to say that because I wouldn't want anyone who's outside of this situation, right? We might be referring to something specific that we all know about, but anyone who's watching this meeting,
Has no idea what we're
right,
talking about.
has no idea what we're talking about. And I wouldn't want them to come away with an impression that, certain things are happening that are not happening or whatever. Okay, sorry.
Is there any other public comments from the board? All right.
All right, my report is relatively brief tonight. I'm going to start with our spotlight on excellence, and that is going to be Ms. Notaro's 8th grade ELA class. Ms. Notaro's 8th grade ELA classroom, I got to observe an activity where students brought the pages of Bruce Brimley's illustrated adaptation of Frankenstein to life. As the culminating activity for the unit, the class engaged in a highly structured debate that demonstrated not only deep literary analysis, but also exceptional classroom routines and student agency. What stood out immediately was the intentional structure of the lesson. Every student had a specific role and responsibility to their peers, ensuring that engagement was total and accountability was shared. The students' familiarity with the classroom routines was evident at the midpoint of the lesson. The class seamlessly transitioned into supportive groups. During this strategic pause, students collaborated to generate new ideas and strengthen their team arguments, showcasing their ability to work cooperatively and think critically on their feet. Beyond the mechanics of the debate, the lesson was a powerful example of differentiated instruction designed to meet the needs of every learner. Mrs. Notaro demonstrated a keen understanding of the anxiety public speaking can cause for some students, and some adults, as we heard tonight. Throughout the debate, she utilized specific targeted praise to reinforce students' efforts building their confidence in real time. While the activity rigorously covered ELA standards regarding argumentation and textual evidence, it also prioritized personal growth. Following the debate, students reviewed their personalized public speaking goals, specific targets set for each individual learner. This dual focus on curriculum standards and individualized skill building ensured that the lesson was accessible and challenging for every student in the room. Kudos to Ms. Notaro and our 8th graders for an inspiring display of collaboration, critical thinking, and courage. We are not going to have our meeting finance update because that's kind of the whole point of the meeting tonight. And I have an exciting announcement that I want to share. Looking ahead to 2026, I am pleased to share exciting news regarding our central office leadership. Following a successful Shadow Day today, we are preparing to welcome Mr. Johnny Reed, a doctoral resident from Harvard University, to our team. From July 26th to April 27th, Mr. Reed will serve as a key administrative asset, working directly under my mentorship while providing his own unique insights. With a strong background in entrepreneurship and a deep commitment to student and teacher wellness, Mr. Reed is poised to be a vital resource for our community. We are eager to leverage his expertise to support our district's strategic goals. And I've been working with Johnny. This will be the 2nd year that I've worked with Johnny. I also did his fellowship year with him. And he is really an outstanding candidate who will bring a lot to the district as well as helping out.
It's amazing.
He's incredible.
I just Googled him.
Yeah.
What?
And to have somebody of his caliber tell me that I inspire him, it was amazing.
And could you just, this kind of position is something they do as part of their project. We aren't paying them.
So,
I'm just curious.
nope, this is the other beautiful part of
Yeah, I
this
just think
arrangement.
for the public as well.
Harvard generally expects the district to pay $85,000
Yeah.
to host a resident. Harvard, because of our size and our budget, is completely paying for the amount of money that it will take to have Mr. Reed here.
It's amazing.
Holy cow.
And
Thank
this
you
is
so much
his
for your
last step before his doctorate.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And that concludes my superintendent's report.
Excellent. All right, so we want to go through and review and approve the minutes from the 10/15/2025 regular session. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes? Does anybody have any questions about the minutes? Can I get a motion on the minutes?
Make a motion to accept the minutes of October 15th, 2025.
I'll second.
Okay, and then all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and because Laura's not here, is she?
Laura's here, she's online.
Okay, so we're gonna have to do a roll call vote. Ms. Brzezowski?
Maybe she's there.
She's at her
Concert.
child's concert. So
All right, well, let's.
maybe the child is
She's
performing.
performing.
Okay.
At this
so
moment.
she's not, so I think that we can just do a regular voice vote and we're all in favor, so we'll adopt the minutes. The review and approve line item transfers and warrants, donations. Do you want to do that now?
We have warrants, we do not have any donations or line item transfers.
Okay. So we don't have to do anything with the warrants, it's just a notice that we're transferring.
Correct.
Okay. Just for the purpose of the record, for the period of December 3rd through December 12th, 2025, the warrant item for a total of $217,820.97. And we are now on to agenda item number 9, new business, winter athletic report. Ms. Burns.
And I also asked Ms. Burns to supply some information, which is in your packet, about the position of athletic director, and the committee did express a desire at our last meeting to hear from the person that does the job about the job.
All right, thank you for having me. Sorry, I'm kind of in the middle of hosting a game as well as being here, and I appreciate you taking the time to hear about the athletics. So I do want to, the first thing that I have sent to you all is the athletics breakdown from 2024 to 2025. We have added a winter cheer this year. It has been a fantastic addition. I've been hearing a lot of people down below at the basketball game saying this is amazing that we've added this. Between 2024 and 2025, our middle school and high school participation rates have increased. And I also added a little projected numbers for grades 3, 4, and 5. I've had these students at the primary school when I was down there teaching, and these kids are very athletic, and if they keep going, these numbers are our projected numbers coming up in the next 3 years. Do you have any questions about this athletics report? It's kind of simple. It's the same thing as the breakdown I did. I was able to spend a little more time and give you percentages so you can see the increase in participation numbers.
Yes, can I just ask
Yeah.
you about middle school sports and how we've decided? I mean, I know you're new to the position,
Yeah.
but it's just curious to me that we have certain middle school sports and we don't others. Is it just interest? Obviously budget has something to do with it.
Yeah, budget has something to do with it, but it's not all that. It's also participation numbers. So
Yeah.
sometimes we have a influx of bubble grades that we have a lot of students that want to participate. But this year we've kind of lost that bubble for a little bit. I know we're going to get it again once our fourth graders are in the school system, into the middle high school.
Yeah.
But it's basically comes down to numbers. So if we don't have enough, we don't really need the middle school team. But if we have a lot of students, then we try to get that middle school team up and running.
That's great, because there are programs that do offer middle school that are like, volunteer groups in town, but not everything, and it's
Yeah.
a different level of
Yeah.
commitment for kids.
Right, yeah, you have town compared to, middle school athletics,
Yeah.
which is, middle school setting them up for the high school athletics expectations. So, yeah, it's a little different, yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. I don't know how you want me to go about the next steps of, kind of giving you a little synopsis of the report that I provided you. So I took it upon myself to give you, our grades are 6 through 12 that we have here at the middle high school. We have about 823 students currently enrolled with projected growth over the next 3 years. Currently, this past fall season, we had 31% of students participating, and that was about 11 sports. And this year, for winter, we've had 29% of our student population with 10 sports. That's the addition of the cheer. We do co-op with a couple of other schools since our numbers are so low and we really don't have enough for a team here. I did want to highlight a couple of things. This entire report, it outlines the operational, administrative, supervisory, and compliance-related duties that are required to maintain a safe, high-quality, and legally compliant athletic program. Athletic directors across Massachusetts consistently agree that this role is a full-time administrative position requiring significant daily oversight, evenings, weekend commitments, holidays, and constant availability for emergency and compliance needs. While, some may think that the athletic program only supports a majority of students. A small number of students. If you were to walk away from this right now at this moment and you would look down, our fan section is amazing. We have a lot of our students who may not be participating in a school athletic program, but may be participating in other athletics. It could be a dance or a club team. They are still here cheering on their classmates. I am constantly, from day to day, from the morning hours until the evening hours, even though I'm not physically in the building and present, I am consistently putting out fires. So sometimes I get phone calls from the bus company or from officials or from our assigner who assigns the officials that, we're either short, we're not going to have an official, or something came up, there's an emergency. I have emails that I try to get to. Sometimes I can't get to them throughout the day, so I try to catch up on my emails through that. Right now we are going through finalizing our schedules for the winter season, and those are hard deadlines, and if we don't meet them, then we miss out on opportunities. We could have to disqualify ourselves, get forfeited out of games. We have to make sure that we are ready to go, that students are, and coaches and athletes are all prepared. So I'm constantly working long hours on my phone, by the computer, wherever I can get a minute just to step away and get some things done. I'm constantly doing that. I have, again, you can see this entire presentation I've provided you. There's a lot that goes into being an athletic director, and it's considerably now been a full-time job. I've reached out to athletic directors within our Midwatch League, and there's a number of things. We also have responsibilities that some people aren't aware of. We are voting members and representatives for our school as well as our league. If we miss an opportunity to attend a meeting, we could be we could be missing out on an opportunity to vote against something that we don't agree with. We could be missing out on an opportunity that would make us more successful. There are a lot of invisible hours. Like I said, I am constantly on call between emergencies, transportation issues, weather changes, which so far so good, not too bad, safety concerns, constant communication with officials, coaches, administration, and families, coverage of games during holidays and school vacation periods. While everyone's enjoying their vacation, I will be working. This is impossible to maintain another role at this time. I've asked other ADs, because there are some school districts that do part-time via paper, contract-wise, but realistically, they are doing more of the athletics than anything else. There's a high turnover rate for any athletic director that does a part-time job because they are pulled in multiple directions. And I'm not the type of person, and I don't want to speak about myself, but I'm not the type of person that will let things fail. I want to make everything 100%. I do not want anything to fail, because if I was not here tonight or for any other game or event or practice, it will be definitely seen by the public. So I cannot let that, fall on the wayside. There's a lot that goes into it. And then each page kind of discusses what, like month by month, what is the expectation. I've also provided you with information from the National Institute of Athletic Administrations Association and what our legal responsibilities are as athletic directors, as well as what an athletic trainer does, what they need for certificate. And they are pretty much like right now, Dave is down there watching it with the game. If there's a medical emergency, he's tending to the emergency, and I am attending to the first responders, moving crowd control. I'm taking care of all that so that we can get that person safely out of the building if we need to. So splitting the role between athletic director and athletic trainer, which was mentioned in one of the previous school committee meetings, I don't think that would be feasible. In general, having a split position is not feasible moving forward. These two positions should be completely separated as a full-time athletic director and a full-time assistant principal. I know I spoke a lot, and I know I gave you so much information that you can look over, but I'm free to answer any questions that you may have.
What about combining the position with the athletic trainer? So an athletic
No.
director and trainer?
I do not. I provided that in the folder for you guys. The athletic trainer needs to tend to the games and the practices. They need to be here. The athletic director doesn't necessarily need to be at every single practice, but I am here. I am a presence. If anything is needed from the coaches or the students, I am here. Obviously, the athletic trainer doesn't do anything outside of their scope, which is medical treatment. They are the ones who are trying to get the students back into the game, back into practices, back into participation, and they are community partners with our UMass doctors that we work with, and they are the kind of like, they speed the process up so students can get back to playing. But it would be impossible because during a football game, athletic trainers, we send in our athletic trainer to the games, and there's been games where I've had a away football game and I've had 2 soccer games that I had to be here for.
What do the DESICOM towns do in terms of full-time athletic director for Lunenburg? So like, I forget what they are, but Maynard, there are like 10 towns that are DESICOMs. Do they all have full-time athletic directors and athletic trainer?
So your question is how many school districts have full-time athletic directors, or more like
How many school districts that are DESICOMs have
Like the same
setup
size as
that we
us,
do?
I think is what
So I know of 2 schools that have part-time positions right now, and that's all they do. They're not, you can't get a hold of them very often. It's very difficult to even communicate sometimes with them. You get like a long wait period and things need to be done right away at most times. Comparable to us, most of them are on paper part-time.
Okay.
And realistically full-time. Yeah, if they want to do the job right. And you, like I've spoken to many athletic directors, and they have said that the ones who are part-time by paper and go by what is said on paper, it's very hard to communicate with them, and it's a safety issue.
The specific towns, just in case you happen to know.
Sure. So West Boylston is a part-time. Tohoto is a part-time. Littleton is a part-time as of now. That's going into full-time. We have a lot of schools that are shifting over. Sometimes they tried out. North Middlesex was a part-time. Now it's full-time. They gave them an additional role, which is nothing. It's more of like a curriculum aspect to it. But comparably with other schools around here, they're all full-time, even if they're part-time. Tingsboro has a part-time as well, but again, more athletics than anything else. And those are very close numbers with us. Same student population.
So I think, nobody wants to cut anything.
Yeah, of course.
This is not like, I obviously want to have a full-time athletic director.
Of course.
I have questions about a trainer just because I did go to high school 20 years ago. That was a long
Yes.
time ago, but we didn't
Yes.
have a trainer. And to me, in my brain, people get medical care through their doctor and they have insurance, right? So when our trainer is doing things, right, that an insurance company should be paying for, to me, I'm not saying that's going to make I just want to talk about that
Yeah.
because that's confusing to me, right? Like
Right.
if a child has a knee injury, right, and they could be going to PT that their insurance company is paying for, but our trainer is doing the PT, right? I don't want to be cold to that child who has to be here, right? But we have people who are paying for tutors out of school for kids to read, right? So that's a question I would like to talk about,
Sure.
what the athletic director, not the athletic director, what
Yeah.
the trainer is doing, and is there places we could be billing, for that? Is there partnerships we could be doing with medical care where they're billing insurance, right? I think that's something we need to think about when we talk about cutting teachers, you know what I mean, for a full-time. And I love sports. I'm not
Yeah.
like Tony. I think we should have a full-time
For the
athletic
record,
director.
I like sports.
I know, but I think the reality is we are in a really crappy place. We're, financially. I'm not going to sugarcoat it,
Yeah. No, I understand. Athletic trainers are very hard to come by. We are lucky enough to have Dave here, and he's been fantastic. He has brought in UMass doctors to help us. They are sports medicine doctors. They get kids in and out of, literally get them into MRIs if they need it right away. They work with the insurance companies. It's been a great addition to have them on board. I get where you're going
right,
with
you
this,
understand what I'm
and
saying, right? My kid has a broken leg. I'm
Right.
going to my primary care doctor,
Right.
and Jody, Dr. Fortuna did tell us, there are some MIAA requirements. I get that.
Yes.
Obviously, if you have to have someone at every game, there is some there's some of that too. You're paying on contract versus. So I'm not. Again, I think that's something that I would. And it doesn't have to be in this moment, but
Yeah.
I'd like a little bit more fully fleshed out because,
Sure.
if we're going to lose social workers too,
Right.
right? One thing I would suggest to Dr. Fortuna at some point is that we're engaging with outside companies that can bill Medicaid for that kind of work or can bill private insurance,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
None of this is perfect. None of this
No,
is what I
yeah.
want.
Mhm.
But I think we have to be realistic about some of those things.
Yeah, we need either a doctor or athletic trainer on site for the games. EMTs cannot diagnose anyone, so if a student athlete gets a blow to the head, they could technically have a concussion. The athletic trainer or doctor can evaluate them on site and let them know if they can go back or not. They know the body better than anybody else. They can get the student back into playing right away. Whereas
But what do
an
we do-
EMT,
But
you
what do
can't.
we do if we have 3 games at once? Do we hire an EMT?
So you need an athletic trainer athletic trainer or someone comparable like a doctor at the hockey games and boys lacrosse and football. The other sports don't necessarily need them because of the high contact. They're not as high contact. Those are the sports that tend to have more issues than other sports because they're more, physical,
They're
right?
tackling.
But they do participate in a lot of things. They have to stay up on trainings with their, medical practices, and they are the ones who get the kids back into participating again, rather than sidelining them and not knowing if the insurance company is going to approve an MRI or keep them long-term out or run from doctor to doctor and not have any answers. So that's why the athletic trainer is like the bigger piece right there. But yes, I do understand, like you can have EMTs, but realistically and financially, if you contract an athletic trainer versus having to pay out, little contracts here and there, it's not as expensive. So
Do you think it's less money to have the athletic trainer than it is to get an EMT to come?
Every game, absolutely, yeah. Because right now they're looking at, I don't know the exact number, but we're close to the $200 range per game, if that, for EMTs, doctors.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, any given season we have very many games. I mean, if you're talking max, it's like 20 games per team. So if you have 10 teams in a season and you have 20 games per sport, that's a significant cost.
But we're paying it.
Yeah, we're paying it some way, yes.
Yes. Oh, is that Laura?
Yeah. You
Hi,
can ask the question.
Absolutely.
I'm almost there, but which sports require the most time of the athletic director and which sports require the most time of the athletic trainer? Because we need to make hard decisions.
Okay, so for athletic director, it's soccer. I mean, every sport necessarily, because I am constantly making sure that everyone's in compliance for everything. And eligibility is a huge piece with the MIAA. So if I miss a form or deadline, then that impacts the entire program. So I am at every soccer home game, every football home game. I do go to the away games if they're close enough to make sure that our students and crowd control are okay, because 4 eyes are better than 2. I go to the field hockey. This is for fall. Soccer, football, field hockey. I've gone to the other sports, but not as much as well. And in the wintertime, I'm at ice hockey games, I'm at basketball games, and we have different levels and different groups. So we have boys and girls. Trying to think off the top. That was a kind of a question I wasn't ready for, but I am at majority of the games. Any games that require crowd control, ticketing, I am there at those events. And then the athletic trainer, they have to be at those 3 main sports. Boys lacrosse, football, and ice hockey.
Can I ask if there are other models where some of this is funded by booster clubs? I'm not probably saying the athletic director position. I don't think that's a good idea, but I'm just curious.
I don't have the answer to. I could find out for you.
Yeah, like some of this other.
Yeah.
I don't know. I get it. I want to pay for everything.
I know.
I'm not right, but it's hard.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, you got to understand that it's really hard, right? There's a lot of things that need to be funded. So, I mean, we're going to get to the budget portion about what we're actually proposing, but.
Can I ask some follow-up questions about the role that you have as the athletic director? When you say that, like I get the scheduling part. How about this? The overall thing I'm trying to figure out is what is the workload division between the athletic director and the athletics director, or the athletic department secretary?
So I can't speak for Courtney. She's been an amazing support for me. She has been taking on the role of doing more of the finance and the budgeting things for me since she is familiar with it. I have been working alongside with her to get everything in order and make sure that we are doing it the way that we should be doing it to make it a successful program. I do rely on her for things as in going through final forms and checking eligibility for students constantly, because sometimes we have it'll let us know when students are up for their physicals or haven't made payments, so she follows up with that. She conducts all of that for me. She reaches out to the MIAA if I request for her to. She reaches out to some of our vendors that I need. She kind of finalizes a little budget for me and we work together for that. she doesn't do much of, she creates the tickets, she gets all the gate things ready for me, and I'm constantly making sure that I am a presence at games. I am ensuring that we have ticketing properly done. I am there to make sure the scoreboards work. I am there to manage the officials. I am there to welcome the team. So there's a lot more that I do in that aspect that Courtney is not expected to do, because she is more of the bookkeeper for at this point. But she does a lot more than just bookkeeping. Like, she is constantly talking with families. She is sending out messages consistently. She has been an integral part of the program.
So, for the purpose of this discussion, do you think that the sports programs overall make, like, what do they make as a gate?
I have that
Like, if you
actually.
combine it for the whole year, are they making 50 grand? Are they making 20 grand?
For my gates,
Yeah.
I mean, I can give you, we just started the winter season, so I can't really tell you what we've made
Like,
for that.
what was the fall?
The fall in total, just for, it was $16,000 in gates.
Okay, so if we said, we're not gonna charge admission anymore, we would lose $16,000. But would that be a diminishment in the workload for the athletic director equal to that salary?
Well, then we wouldn't have money coming into the revolving account, which wouldn't pay for things.
Right, I understand that, but like what I'm saying is, if we're paying, if part of the workload of the athletic director is managing the gate, and let's say it's, I don't know, just to pick a number, you could tell me better, but like, if it's 1/10 of the workload of a full-time athletic director, and the athletic director was making, $100,000, then like, you're only really making a profit of $6,000, right? Because it'd be $16,000 or whatever. Like, you could figure this out. I'm not using the exact numbers, but you could figure out what the responsibilities were in terms of the amount of time you spend on managing the gate versus the amount of money the gate generates. And so if we got rid of the gate, we could get rid of that part of the job.
But then that's like saying, I'm sorry, you can speak, go ahead.
Okay. The problem with eliminating the gate is how much the revolving fund is currently paying for our athletic program.
Yes.
So if we're making $16,000 in one season, and we extrapolate that out over all 3 seasons,
Right.
that's, say it's $10,000, that's $30,000
Yeah.
of purchasing power that we lose with our revolving account.
Yes.
Which pays for fees and.
Didn't we move a lot of that to the budget last year?
We moved some of it to the budget, but not all of it.
Okay. Just because we were in the negative last
Yeah.
year. So how can we be paying for things on
Well, we're not negative. We moved money from the budget into the revolving, because you can't close a revolving in the negative.
in the negative? So right now it's paying back the negative we were in.
I guess what I'm trying to do is figure out if there's a way of removing duties that would make it viable to have it as a part-time position.
I mean, but that's like saying like you're gonna go to the grocery store in your car without tires. Like that's, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of, if we think about
There
that.
are folks that walk to the grocery store.
I understand, but like you're taking parts of a program and saying if we took this out, this would be easier for you to do or more manageable. I think that you can't take things out to make it more manageable. Like you need all of those aspects in order to make a successful athletic program. Because again, that money that comes in for gates is going right back towards the athletics budget for our students, not for me, not for my salary or anything else. It's literally going back to them so that we can pay for things. Because at this point in time, if we don't have any money coming into that revolving account, we can't pay the officials, we can't pay for pretty much anything. Like that's where everything comes out of.
Oh, yeah,
And we can't remove a piece of the athletic program or a job or a responsibility and say that it's going to be successful. Like I understand what you're trying to say, but I don't feel like that even just removing the gate would.
I just use the gate as an example because it has a quantifiable number attached to it. Like, we're gonna know how much the gate is worth, and if it's like, the gate is worth 50 grand, we're paying the athletic director 100 grand, and half of the athletic director's responsibilities are the gate, maybe we just do math a different way, and instead of using a revolving account, we pay it like in a different mechanism. I think.
I'm hearing you.
Yeah,
I just,
yeah.
I
The
disagree.
fundamental-
I respectfully disagree. I feel
No,
like
no,
you need, yeah.
I'm
I
not-
just think 3 full-time positions. Again, I am not against the athletic department. I am not, right? But there's 3 full-time positions we're talking about. and
Courtn's not full-time.
Half-time.
she
No,
is-
she's not.
She's half-time.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's a part-time.
So
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so that's 2.5. I'm just,
If we have, here's the problem. If we have kids in 3rd grade and the number of kids that are reading at grade level is 48%, like, this is all nice to have stuff. The reading stuff is essential. And so when we're trying to make trade-offs, it's not, do we like this thing or do we want this thing? The first thing is, what are we legally obligated to do? The second thing is, what is the mission of the school and what is core to that mission? And then the third thing is, what are all the nice to haves? And like, this is unpopular to say, but athletics are nice to haves. They're not something that we are legally obligated to provide children. That is not the role of a school. And to the extent that we have 48% of 3rd graders reading below grade, or at grade level, we have a dire need there. And, you know, like, spending a lot of money on an athletic director is something that is very difficult to do, because we're gonna go to the town. We're gonna ask people who have, you know, all different sorts of income, some who are on fixed income. We're gonna ask them for a lot of money. And when they ask us, how are you spending that money? Are you gonna address this deficiency in reading? And we say, well, we wanna be, you know, are we the smallest town that has an athletic director? Are we the 10th smallest town? Like, those kind of questions are hard to answer. And I'm not expecting you to answer them. Like, that's why we volunteered to do this. We are gonna be in the miserable position of answering those questions. But like, thinking through those problems when you have, you know, trade-offs like this, it's just something that we have to do. And the idea that anything is sacrosanct and anything is untouchable cannot be our modus operandi. We need to put everything on the table and carefully consider each piece. And if you're asking me, do I like sports? I love sports. We had season tickets to the Cincinnati Reds. I chose my college because it was closest to Riverfront Stadium. I love sports, but I am not going to sit here as the chair of the school committee and say I would prefer to fund sports over reading. Like, I just can't do that. And I know that that's not what you're asking us to do. You just happen to be the person sitting at the table when we have these tough discussions. But like, if I'm gonna go ask a lady who's on a fixed income to skip a pill one day out of the week so she can pay more taxes, I wanna make sure that we are doing everything we can, and that means putting everything on the table. Every single thing, including sports, athletic director, athletic trainer, athletic secretary. We need to make sure that we can go to the town in good faith and say, we have tried everything. And if at the end, the committee decides that we fund a full-time athletic director, and that's the will of the committee and the process is correct, then that's fine, that's what we do. But I wanna make sure that we've gone through this and not just done it as like an exercise, but like really interrogate each part of our budget. And sports are a large part of the budget. And I get, like, I asked your predecessor for data about impacts of sports on student achievement, and he did not provide me with a single stitch of data. Other people did, but he did not. And in doing the research and looking at the data, it is very clear to me that for a sizable percentage of students, the way that you get them to school, the spoonful of sugar to get them to school is sports. And so that means it has a fundamental impact on student achievement. So I don't want to think about getting rid of sports or curtailing our sports programs, but we've got to really interrogate how we spend our money. Every penny matters.
Well, this town's a very small town, and I've become very familiar with it for living here for a while. And I have asked quite a few people who have been, have been having ancestors here for a very long time, and sports does drive this community. We're very similar to other smaller towns as well, that sports drives the community. I'm not here to tell you anything different, but if realistically, if you cut any athletic program, even just by a small margin, the students will leave and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
That happens.
Sports drives the town, but sports doesn't drive the votes. It doesn't.
No, I understand
If
that.
people want to see that happen, then they need to vote, go to town meetings,
Yes.
and pay taxes.
Yeah.
But if they're not gonna vote, go to town meeting, or pay taxes, then they can protest all they want. It doesn't matter, right? Like, this is a democracy, those are the ways you say these things are important. Vote, pay taxes, and participate in government. You don't wanna do that, you can complain, but it's not gonna change the facts, right? If the town came to us and said, we will vote for an override to ensure that we have, state-of-the-art athletic facilities and a full-time athletic director, a full-time athletic trainer, all of these wonderful things, and they put the money on the table, happy to do it. But that's not what happens. And so I hear that refrain, people say that all the time, people come in and complain, but no one does anything about it. Just the truth. This is a democracy. The things that matter are voting, participation, and taxes. If you don't want to pay more taxes, then you can't have all of these lavish things like, what was the thing that Peter wanted, the hot dog thing? Or he wanted like a hamburger thing because some other town had a hamburger thing in their sports snack shack. It was like, look.
Peter, are you listening? Can you
Yes.
jump in?
I think it was the hamburger thing. But like, we have a fundamental tension between what people say and what people do. And until those things are unified, it's what people do that's gonna be the thing that controls what happens. And like, that's not, this is not something you're unfamiliar with, but like, the town could say that they like it, but unless they're willing to pay, we can't do anything, right? Like, we can't go to the tri-board meeting and ask for every single thing on our checklist every single time. We can't go to the floor of town meeting and ask for every single thing on our checklist every single time. I mean, they're just not gonna do it. And so how do we convince them that we're taking it seriously? And I think it is interrogating every dollar we spend.
But we're at the point where half the kids in the primary, in the lower grades are behind benchmarks, half of them, and they're not getting the help they need. And that gap, I don't know if we've gotten there yet, because I just got here, that gap just keeps getting wider the longer we let it go without interventionists, and then we're talking about sports as if it's essential. And I think that on the nice-to-have list, I think it's top of the nice-to-have list, and I think it's really important, and the points you spoke about, retention and kids needing a reason to come to school and the intangible benefits of it. But we're at the point where we can't afford to teach kids to read, and that's kind of the basic. I don't know what to do. But I did want to say thank you for what you've been doing, because you've been doing half a vice principal and half an athletic job, but you've been doing them both full-time.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you're doing it. So I don't know if anyone said that yet. I did want to say thank you, and thank you for the report.
Thank you.
You've been exceptional. I mean, every time I have come for events that my son is participating in or not, you have been here. Every person I have ever talked to has like sung your praises. I think that the contrast is incredible. I mean, we're not $100,000 in debt, so that's like a bonus. I just can't say how good you have done, and it is really heartening to see you just did this, you volunteered to do this.
But
right?
it's not sustainable.
It is
Well, right,
not.
so this is the thing, I mean, we're not asking you to do this indefinitely, right?
No.
So that's the thing, we're not,
This is not sustainable. I honestly do not know how you're doing it. I think you're doing it exceptionally well. And I did want to recognize that you are doing 2 jobs this year, and it's not sustainable, and I don't think it's fair of the town to keep asking for that, and I think you've laid out the reasons why a full-time athletic director is needed.
Thank you.
I just wanted to make one comment, if I may. Mr. Burns did a great job articulating why we need a full-time AD, and then even comments from the committee on, I have no idea how you're doing it part-time, and then we're asking, why isn't it full-time, you know? We are so baffled that she's able to do it part-time, but we're saying it's not a full-time position, so.
I don't think we're saying it's a full-time position.
Yes.
We are saying we have to figure out what the priorities are
Absolutely.
for this as a town.
Mhm.
So I would like us to look into the athletic trainer portion. I would like to have a full-time AD. I would like, but I think we need to think about what we're paying an athletic trainer for and what other things we could do. Could we bring in more money for that? You know, is that a cost? And there's probably no cost savings there, but I think to justify it to the town, I would like to see that is something that we can talk about, right? Because I do truly believe we have to make a better argument than these kids can't go to their doctor that their insurance company pays for. You know, and I will have a high school athlete at some point who will probably love, you know, I have kids who play millions of things who will probably love to have a PT here, and I've heard wonderful things about him. But again, it's not about him. It's about the fact that, you know, I'm paying for outside tutoring for my kids because they're not getting what they need in school, you know. So, but I mean, that's.
Thank you, everyone. And I want to thank Janina for being here. And it's the ask of her tonight wasn't an easy ask. It's hard to sit in front of 5 people and talk about why your job is important. But unfortunately, it's one of those positions that we don't have all the insight into, and we need her to give that to us. So I thank you for your courage. I thank you for your grace, which I've watched happen.
Thank you, and everything's in there for you guys in that little, so, you know, glance through it. There is a lot of info, and it's a lot of info that I've also communicated with other ADs so that I could develop something that's, you know, that talks about every single piece of the athletic director position, as well as the athletic trainer at the back.
Ms. Burns, your signature is excellent.
Oh, thank you.
You always do an excellent job. It doesn't matter what it is, you just do an excellent job. So if we made you the head of like the person that, you know, polished the floors in the gymnasium, you would ice skate on them. If we made you the head of whatever, you would do an excellent job. It is always clear to me that you bring excellence every time.
Absolutely.
So
thank you.
To the point where you weren't the athletic director of the year, I was mad.
Yes.
What? She wasn't the athletic director of the year, and I was mad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we write a letter?
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both.
I mean, this sucks. I'm not this is not fun.
Oh, it gets worse.
I know, but I'm just saying that out loud so people know and people on the computer.
Wait until we have the meeting where we're like, all right, everybody gets to pick one thing they really want. And then everybody comes forward and then we're like, find out the next meeting. No one gets any of that.
Right, yeah.
And it's people's job.
I know. I just, let's move on. I didn't mean to distract us. I just, you know.
All right, you got your budget workshop.
Yes, so I'd like to invite Mr. McNamara out.
Chris, are you aware that we refer to you as C-Money?
Yes.
Are you okay with that?
Who does these do?
There's
Ask the
so many
superintendent
Chris's.
as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is your mic working?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I couldn't hear that on, it was very.
Now it is.
Okay.
Hello.
So what we're going to do tonight, a lot of what's in this budget book is stuff you've seen
Yeah.
with some information fleshed out. Like, for example, we have 71 ELL students in the district
Yeah.
with 2 teachers spread across 4 campuses. So we've tried to incorporate some of the answers into the book. My plan for this is to have Chris highlight some changes that exist that you'll notice in amounts and totals, and then let you guys have at it with questions and discussion.
Okay.
Thank you. So if you want to take a look at page 22, it is, I believe, I have a breakdown of the salaries and expenses for FY26 and the projected salaries and expenses for FY27. As you can see, from FY26 to 27, there's almost a 5.5% increase in salaries.
Wait, what is,
So,
wait.
I think it's cut.
Oh, I'm on the wrong page. What numbers?
22.
Is it the one?
18,449,000.
This is the table he's referring
Oh,
to.
right.
He's not voting yet.
It's not on my computer, that's why.
It's 24 for me.
Yeah.
Got it.
Sorry, you can continue to talk. I just wanted to be able to follow along.
Yeah, that's the grant one.
Okay, thank you.
22.
So, and the expenses for FY '26 and FY '27, there's about a 7.72% increase. And then for the total overall budget, what we're proposing for FY '27 is $27,935,275, which is a little bit more than what we had at the tri-board meeting. Some of the reasons for that are due to just expenses that we upped a little bit.
I'm sorry, is anyone found
Which page?
What are we
Right
looking
now,
at?
the
22 and
pages are
23.
all messed
Of
up.
which one? Because there's,
The Lunenburg Public Schools draft budget book.
Look at the PDF,
yeah.
unless, Chris, you changed something today.
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, I can't find it on Tony's.
It's not on mine.
I have it. I have it.
But not the
I
totals.
can't find it on Tony's.
Yeah, right here. Total.
Yeah, but not comparison totals, right?
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay.
We're good. I'll look on the deck.
Yeah. Here. In the middle.
So the increase in salaries is due to, it came to light within the past couple of weeks that there was 10 paras that weren't really accounted for in the FY '26 budget.
I'm sorry, what?
Wait, you heard that right. But the
But-
good news is,
We should be okay.
we caught it.
Oh, for this for next year?
Okay.
No, this is our current.
This is the
our
current year.
Yeah, this is the current
We
year.
caught it.
Okay.
So, okay, thank you.
So,
Catching it.
and just for information, with adding those paras into the budget, we're going to be okay, I believe,
Okay.
for FY '26.
Okay.
I did some math. We're running about 2.5 to 2.7% for each payroll right now.
Yeah.
We're at 44.6% expended. So we should be okay. There was a little flexibility in the budget that I found that made that okay. And then for the expenses, one thing that I really wanted to note was, if you look at the total for FY '27, it's around $9.9 million. And, oops, thank you. And what makes up the breadth of that is really 4 things. One of them being health insurance, which makes up about 45% of the expenses. Then student transportation is about 40%. And then between collaborative tuitions, private tuitions, and grounds and maintenance, it makes up another about 20 to 25%. Those are the things that are really driving up the budget. Just the health insurance costs, maintenance of the buildings keeps going up. Student transportation is obviously a fixed rate because we have a contract through the end of 2028.
Does that include special transportation?
The amount that I just noted, the 40% does include special ed transportation.
But not the 1.7 million on this list?
Yeah, that does include special ed transportation.
Okay.
So one thing that would be really helpful to me is if we had one page that was like, this is how much we expect to spend this year, right?
Yeah.
This is what we would expect to, if we're level funding, level service, right? We're offering the exact same set of services, which is not acceptable, but what would that be, right? And then what we're recommending, right?
Definitely.
Just the three in a row and labeled very well. This is this current budget.
Yeah.
This next year is what we would do to offer the same level of service, and you can even write, which is not acceptable, right? But that we, natural growth that absolutely has to be accounted for, right? And then the third one, what we really would prefer with the recommendations that you've made and you presented to the tri-board.
Yeah, so what I presented tonight really is a level service budget.
Okay.
It has no additions and it has no reductions in staffing.
Yeah.
It has restorations.
No, it doesn't
doesn't
have any
have any
restorations
restorations
in it.
included
So yeah,
in it.
It's just exactly.
so that's why I think we want to be clear
Yeah, okay.
about
So
what is
yeah,
the
yeah.
level service.
So this includes all step increases for teachers that are contractual paraprofessionals. Custodians, obviously, they are gonna have a new contract come 2027. And then there's cafeteria and secretarial
Yeah.
So those include all raises for those positions.
For those positions,
Yeah.
but that's a level services.
Correct.
So, yeah, so I think, an expected FY '26, a level services affected, for '27.
Yeah.
And then a recommended, restorations, right, is what we're saying,
I
because it
think
is.
restoration, yeah.
Yeah, which isn't a 3-year that's just the 1 year.
Yeah.
Right, would be helpful,
Okay.
if possible.
Yeah, that breakdown would be good. If you could stick FY
We,
'25.
I now have the
Yeah.
budget thing working, so.
Okay.
Oh, excellent.
Yay.
Oh, wait, what's that?
It was
I
our,
don't
it was
have
our.
that.
You gotta request access in the drive.
I tried. Oh,
I thought I gave it to you.
I just requested it, so.
But you can look at
Perfect, perfect, all right.
I'll share.
Yeah, because
This is important.
yeah, this is important. So this is a
Levels of service.
level
Level
service.
service
Where we
budget.
are still
Is a
dealing with the cuts.
6.27%
Percent
increase.
increase, correct.
Could we figure this out without the health insurance? So if you took the health insurance out of
The
the
health
FY,
insurance is about $600,000 to $700,000.
right, so but you mean take it out of FY '26 and out of FY '27 and see,
Oh, for the
What
whole
percent?
health
So we're-
insurance?
So we're counting apples to apples.
Yes.
Yeah.
With
So
other
for-
town departments.
so when other town departments say, we're asking for a 3% increase, you're asking for a 6, they're not gonna say it to us directly, but you know what I mean, the public, might look at this and say, oh, the schools are asking for 6.5, but the fire department's only asking for 3. The fire department is not including their health insurance because that's just the way that the budget was developed years and years ago.
Yeah.
So I think we should take the health insurance out of it, like completely,
Okay.
for a number, right?
I think we should have a number that shows it with it and without.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
we can do
Not
that.
remove it, you gotta tell people we're doing it.
Well, right, like, no, I didn't mean
Okay.
it like a
Okay.
secret.
Yeah.
Ah, we
We
tons
got
of
you.
money.
But right, because I would be very curious what this 6.27 number would be if we didn't have the 20% for the health insurance, right?
Yeah,
Well, it would,
he's gonna do it.
no,
That's it.
it would basically be, we would be, if you took out the health insurance, we would be less than what we were at in FY '25 and FY '26.
Right, but you have to take the health insurance out of FY
Oh, okay, if we took
'26
the,
too.
yes.
Right, we can't
That's
pretend
crazy.
it's
Is that
going
right?
down.
Health insurance is about
Yeah, it keeps going up.
$4.4
Oh
million.
my, so if you took out the health insurance, it would be the same as what we were funded this year.
It would be less,
Oh my God.
The increase.
I believe.
Yeah.
We can't do anything about it.
Well, the health insurance is projected to be about $4.4 million.
Oh my gosh.
And how much was it last year?
3.7, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 25.
So
I think the point is that we just want to show that.
The percentage, I just want the
Yeah,
percentage
because
personally, like.
It is such a giant piece of our
Of the
budget
increase.
puzzle that it seems like we're
Right.
asking for more, but we can't control the health insurance.
So FY '26 was 2,628,7,474, but then you minus the health insurance out of that, and then you do FY '27 and minus the health insurance, and then you can see what the percentage increase is.
Yeah.
Right, am I making sense?
Yeah, that
Okay.
sounds about right.
It's not always the case.
Chris, what do you think if this is level services,
Mhm.
what could we do and how much would it cost if we really targeted the reading scores in the early schools, in the elementary school and the primary school? Like, how much would those costs be? What of the things that are on the table do you think would be most cost effective?
So where we typically hire at, it costs about $72,000, and then with health insurance, if they take the most expensive family plan
Yeah.
possible, it's another, I believe it's like $38,000, which is the cost to the city or to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like $120,000 per position.
It's about $100,000 to $120,000 per position.
Okay, so, like, I guess the thing that I'm trying to get at is, a couple years ago, Dr. Byrne put the budget together, and she had shown, in coordination with Juliana, that there were positions like BCBA's that were, they had a savings that was higher than what a similar hire would be, hire, H-I-R-E, not H-I-G-H-E-R. What a similar position would be elsewhere, so that the BCBA's essentially were a bigger bang for our buck.
Correct.
Do you have any insights based on the difference between this level service budget and our projected budget that we presented at tri-board meeting? Like, are there positions like that where we should be really focusing on and advocating for those kinds of
I mean,
expenditures?
nothing against Chris, but shouldn't we be asking the educators that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love you, Chris.
Anybody who wants to hop in from behind Chris, what kind of positions can we use, and how much? And then Chris, how much will they cost?
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of presented
Not
to us
easy.
what they
What,
want,
reading
right?
specialist,
What the
interventionist,
budget- I mean, they want those
paraprofessionals.
interventionists, right? Do you think that's the best bang for our buck?
Yes. They would just like more of them.
More of
But-
them.
Yeah.
More
Yeah.
of them.
Enough of them.
Enough of them.
Like enough
Obviously,
of them
some
to
paras
service
too for particularly the kindergarten that we've worked out something.
For 4 of the 5.
Yeah. But I am concerned about the high school, that there are students who have like so many study halls. I think that's a real,
It's a real issue.
that's a real issue, right? I've heard
Yes.
that from people.
Mhm.
So, besides you, obviously I believe you, but I've heard that from parents too. Not complaining at us, but just like, wow, my kid has, you know.
I think one of the things that we talked about unanimously with all of the building principals
Yeah.
is that we have interventions at our level. Tim does not have it at his level. So if we're going to look at this and we want to continue to progress and move our reading scores, you need to have that across all buildings. It can't just stop once they get to middle school, because if there's still gaps, there's no recovery or closing that gap. So we need to look uniformly with all 3 schools, or 4 schools, sorry, and look at how are we going to.
I absolutely agree with you, but I do think the primary school should have maybe one more than the other schools.
I think that's
Just
part
for
of
the
our,
foundation
I think that's part of
to-
our ask.
Yeah.
And one of the things, we are feeling the impacts of the cuts that we've had over many years.
Yeah.
And I wanna say that I think all of the buildings right now are struggling to meet the needs of the students, because this is the year we're feeling the impact of all the cuts we've made.
Right, and
Principal Squire, can you come to the microphone? I'm
also,
just concerned that people might not.
the MCAS scores that we've seen haven't even reflected all those cuts too. And not that MCAS scores are the only thing we're looking at, do you know what I mean? But like.
They did get their MCAS scores for this year.
Yeah,
For
but
the past year already.
Right, but this year we had more cuts than that, like last year, right?
Yeah, we cannot keep cutting down.
Well, yeah, we're not talking about, but like, so the,
I want to be explicitly clear again, we
Yeah.
cannot cut a single position.
Yes.
Like, that is one thing we have to be united on. And there is more that we could have asked for, but we were trying to be responsible and keep the
Yeah.
growth within a reasonable level for the taxpayer.
yeah, so that would be interesting, that number, right? In this little chart I'm asking for, like, of what, you know, this is, that we're looking at level services, but we're also looking for that respectful, you know, like the one you presented, what the cost difference is there.
Yep.
So I think what we did as principals is we looked at our projection over 3 years. What are our needs for this year? What are our needs next year? And I will tell you what my needs are for next year. And I think all of the principals sat together with Dr. Fortuna and put what our needs are. But then we had to prioritize, because I don't think we're going to get the budget to fit all of our needs because of the impact of the cuts over the last couple of years. We can't, as Dr. Fortuna said, we can't cut anymore.
So Tony, are you asking for additional positions like that have been presented to us? Is there any changes that the teachers or the educators here would suggest that could bring down costs in other areas? Is that what you're trying to say? Okay, so I'm assuming you considered that when you formulated your budgets, but I think it's a good explicit question to ask, right? Is there other places we could be saving money? I don't know, right? Is that what you're?
Yeah.
I mean,
is it-
like, it's just a continuation of what we asked Ms. Burns.
Right.
How do we go about prioritizing you know, comparing the needs of an athletic director to a kindergarten paraprofessional or a third grade reading or interventionist. It's really hard for us to make those decisions, because we don't know, I mean, Emily aside, we don't know jack about this. Like, we don't know anything.
I think just listening to what everyone's presenting, I think it's just as detrimental to cut your athletic as it is even your interventionist. Everyone plays a critical role, and the more you cut and the more you take away, there's one thing that's going to give.
But I'm gonna like paraphrase George Orwell and say, you know, all men are created, you know, some positions are necessary and some positions are more necessary, right? Like, we've gotta have some way to distinguish these two things. And if we, like, I mean, we could just tell, we could say to Chris, who's the most expensive person, who's the least expensive person, get rid of the, you know, but like, that doesn't seem fair. And I think that, you know, like, we're really in a dilemma as to how we do this. You know, like,
Well, I think
But
the
Tony,
point
I
is
think
there's no
if you
cuts,
if you
nothing.
listen to what we are going to propose and what Dr. Fortuna is going to propose on our behalf, we've put a lot of time and energy into it. And while it's not perfect and it's not going to restore every cut that we have made, it's getting us closer to where we need to be.
yeah.
And so I think strategically as a group, we are going to have to, the sooner we agree on what, and we shouldn't, I'm not saying we shouldn't have conversations about every detail we want to, we should. But the sooner as a group we coalesce around the one budget that we really are ready to push, right? Then we're not gonna be in the position in the next few months, as we have been in the past, of sort of building the plane as we're flying, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
like we are,
Yeah.
we're in the nitty gritty right now, which is not where we had been in the past. We were waiting till February or March to be in this nitty gritty, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I think, I don't wanna speak for the four of you, or whatever, there's
There's
whatever,
only
all of
4
us.
now.
But, you know, I think we all agree with Dr. Fortuna, we cannot take any more cuts. So that is number one, like, we could vote on that tonight, we are absolutely,
Yeah,
you know,
no, I agree with that.
right? So
Yeah.
I think what we need to decide is how much over the cuts are we thinking
Willing to
we're gonna
restore.
push
I think that's my question. So
with the
this
town, right?
budget
Is that sort of what?
This budget that you have is extremely conservative, and it is I don't want to say small ask because it is a large amount of money, but it is, I mean, next year's ask does not restore us to where we were last year. We're
Right.
still
And
trying to rebuild from what we've lost. We're not trying to get better, we're just trying to
Yeah, and I
climb
think
out of the hole we've dug ourselves into.
strategically, I think we need to think about, so other towns have done, my understanding is different types of overrides, right? Is basically you could put more than one override on the ballot and whatever passes that's the longest or the biggest is the one that passes. So you could do a tier one where we're just asking for next year and whatever the town want, like the town, we're obviously still working through the tri-board process and respecting that process. But right, you can put a ask on that has that. My question for today was sort of like, are we thinking, and then sometimes you can put on a higher one where you're promising just to spend to certain levels to try to keep your school afloat for 3 years, right? So you may be asking for a 3-year runway in an override. Now granted, once you vote on it, it's just that first year, but there are mechanisms, right, that some towns do.
Absolutely.
So that you're not asking people to go to the polls a million times.
It does get confusing.
Do you think we need an override, Chris?
Oh, that is
Well,
such
he
not
does-
a fair
but
question.
he doesn't know how much-
Would you like me to answer?
Yes,
Sure.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I
But
got
also,
you.
he doesn't know how much money they're gonna give us. We don't have an in yet. We only have an out.
Well, and we only have an out, and part of what's going to take longer this year
Yeah.
is the turnover that's happening in
Yeah.
the town, in the finance office. in
Which is
particular.
unfortunate. I feel for the town manager.
Yes.
She's really.
And she's making, she and the selectmen are making a great effort
Yes.
to right that ship. But we still haven't, as a town, closed, like Chris wanted to give you the revolving accounts tonight.
Yeah.
We can't give you the revolving accounts because FY '25 still hasn't been closed on the town side.
Oh, that's hard.
So that's the best that we can do. But I think it's important to do actually in this vacuum of
Yep.
information is what we need to start to restore our positions. And those asks, the principals have made very clear. And those are included in this document, and we can definitely talk through them. But this is what we are saying is essential for us to even think about moving the needle on our reading scores, which quite frankly are appalling. And we need to do something to address those. And it's not that our teachers are not working incredibly hard. It's just that they have no backup to help with the tier 2 and the tier 3 interventions. For example, at primary school, they have one interventionist who's serving 53 students. You look at the number of students that need intervention based on the percentages of the Dibble score, it's a heck of a lot more than 53 students. But we're doing, I don't know how she's even managing a caseload that large. So these things are strikingly important for us. We've seen, the only place that we've seen consistent growth is in 4th grade math, which the state has actually called to see what we're doing. But even though we've seen consistent growth in our scores are still not where they should be. And again, our teachers are creative, they are working hard. The spotlights on excellence that I give you are real, and they're all over the place. But without that backup and without that support that we're asking for, I'm sorry, I'm on my soapbox right now. Without that backup and support that the educators are asking for, the experts in the room are asking for, we will not be able to move this district forward. And it's still going to be micro steps with what we're asking for, because we are being conservative. And we are trying to be respectful of that woman that may feel like she has to choose between getting her prescription filled this month and funding the schools for learning. And that piece was really important to us in our strategy as we did this.
So Tony, do you want to discuss, so Tony, I think back to what, and I'm sorry that I've sort of had a lot to say, but do you kind of want?
Surprising.
Hey, you wanted me on this committee.
I know.
I think.
I do.
So do you, I think your question might be, of all the suggestions that they've made of those, right? Are there things that they're saving money on the other end?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that what I want to know is, if we're compelled to do horse trading in our discussions with the town, and it comes down to, you know, Anna Lockwood's very real concerns about a town this size having a full-time athletic director, or the need for interventionists in 3rd grade reading, like, which ones are the ones that, when all the experts tell us we need to do both, which do we choose?
So my recommendation would be to choose, and I'll have Tim talk more about the AD position and having a halftime AP up here, what that's done to the school, because the cost of that has really been borne by the teachers and the students. So even though that piece doesn't seem as essential, it actually is, given the number of students that are underscheduled with study halls. And I know that's been a bone of contention in the town about whether we need study halls or not. So we have a high school that's not fully scheduled. We have more mental health issues popping up in our schools and in our students at all grade levels right now. So this year we haven't even attacked that problem. We're starting first with the intervention. So they're not suggestions, they're really recommendations. And we haven't increased our supply lines at all. What you're truly seeing are the things that are out of our locus of control. You're seeing the health insurance, you're seeing the transportation. I was just on a call with math superintendents today talking about how superintendents aren't represented on the board that sets private day school tuitions. That is a real problem. And so these are our best suggestions. I don't think there's anything on the other end that we can give up. So I would always say go with the academics piece, but I think it's all tied up in the academics piece.
Can I talk to that, Tony?
Sure.
I think that what you're asking, you're coming at it from the wrong angle when you say if we have to choose between an interventionist and athletic director. I think that what we as a school committee need to say is we're not going to choose. We need these things to function as a school, and it is necessary. And this is what our superintendent is saying we need, this is what our principals are saying we need, this is what our students need to succeed. Both of these positions are vital, we need to fund them. And that it doesn't come down to like it did last year with the horse trading and comparing positions and deciding where to pick off, because
I mean, poor Principal Squire went without those touchscreens for like 2.5 years.
We're out of things. We're out of things to pick
They're
off.
coming. I'm working on getting that darn brand approved.
So my point is that we have done the horse trading and the picking off, and we have picked off every single thing we can. And that if we approach it as, well, what do we prioritize? No, we prioritize the students, and these positions are vital. And we as the school committee go, no, we need these. Don't make us choose between the elimination of high school sports and the kids in the primary, more than half the kids in the primary not being able to read. That's not a decision that anyone should have to make. That's not a decision the town should be making. We're going to say, we need both of these things for our students to excel. We need sports for our high school students, and we need our children to be able to read. So I think when we look at it as what the comparisons are, we have to instead say, nope, both of these things are necessary.
And also, back in October, Dr. Fortuna actually sent us an email where she suggested a rubric for us, which I thought was really helpful.
I like the rubric.
Not that I want to be making those choices, but it's clearly like, these are our core principles and ideas. How would we, give each thing a number if we get to that point, right? That we have to be.
If we get to that point, I think we are going to have to re-examine how Lunenburg does schools.
Like the one concern that I have is the Department of Education and the federal level will be eliminated. And when it is eliminated and the states get the funding that Congress is obligated the executive branch to provide, if those block grants are distributed using the current funding in Massachusetts, I think it's safe to say we'll lose money. We should not be thinking that we have to have contingency plans, is what I'm trying to say. And I think that not having contingency plans, not thinking through these things means that if for some reason the block grants go to the state tomorrow and we get 20% less federal funding, what do we do? Where are we at? And these are things that we've got to consider because, if you just look at I'm looking at pages, the Title I, Title IV, none of those trend lines are going in the right direction.
Her budget, salaries are not in because of the
Yes, we have
uncertainty.
started to move.
This budget
away
accounts
from
for
it.
that.
Away from.
Yeah.
And Dr. Fortuna did send me a list of comparable districts, and I'm working on a major spreadsheet with all the contacts of all the superintendents and school committee chairs of those groups. And so at a future meeting, I'd love to see if we could get a group of us to decide that we could send an email maybe from our committee asking these people if we could meet and talk about comparable districts. And so I am working on that. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting there.
So can Mr. Santry talk about, and can you also discuss the interventionists and what you had said at the meeting about the high school interventionists and the dropout rate?
Sure, and I think I've talked about that before. Thank you
I want you to say that again.
for having me here. I don't envy your positions, and you have put me in charge of our middle school and our high school in order to support those students also. So we are one district, so it's difficult to make decisions based on a premise of it has to go to third grade. We are a full district. College and career readiness is as important as our third grade reading scores. So supporting our students in the middle and the high school is essential. Ms. Brzezowski wanted me to talk about the intervention teacher that we have at the high school. Drastically reduced our dropout rates. She continues to be a phenomenal resource.
How
But
drastically one of the years?
last year, I'm sorry, I think it was 24, 25, we had a 100% rate of graduation.
That is
Yay.
amazing.
That's amazing.
I want to highlight that, like,
And-
we had a 100% graduation rate. That's good. That's
Yeah.
very good.
And at the high school level that we have, as I spoke many times last year, it's not about class size, it's about choice for students. And we have reduced that choice by 33 sections over the last 2 years. So when we say, oh, I want to get rid of study halls, like where are those 33 sections of kids going
Oh, yeah.
that we've reduced? We have to create, the graduation council came out with some new recommendations around innovative paths on how we educate kids at the high school. It's really what we had talked about, right? If we have students that want to go in the medical field, we want students that want to go in an engineering field, we have to be able to provide them classes that are going to help them get into college and career readiness. And as far as the AD and the AP, those positions, with all due respect, Mrs. Scolambrini, I disagree. I think those both need to be full-time positions, and I understand where we have to figure out how to do that. We have always had a proactive response to our school community. So I have assistant principals that are proactive in supporting teachers and parents and students. We had this 33 section reduction of classes. So now we have students who are in classes they may not want to be in, which in turn maybe increase the amount of behavioral issues that we have in those classes, which in turns have been reduced at the amount of administrators that I can respond to those classes. So we're in this cycle that we have less choices, kids are in classes they may not want to be in, and we have less proactive support that we have had at the middle and the high school. So it's not a recipe for success. And I understand third grade scores. My master's degree is in special education. I was a special educator for 15 years. I understand the importance of early literacy at that age, but we have to be thinking as a district and how we support all of our students. And really that's my job, so I wanted to advocate for that. The positions that I put forward to Dr. Fortuna are our priority positions. I know the AD and the AP, our Spanish, our world language position, because we made a reduction there, and now we're going to have an 8th grade class of 155 when we had one of 105. It's just sheer numbers that we're going to need.
The bubble class? Well,
Yeah. So yes, we need to restore some of that choice. And one of my other priority positions was the band teacher. So you might ask why, how is that affecting third grade reading? It isn't, but it's providing choice, and it's our band and chorus numbers from our middle school are dramatically increasing, and we knew we took a hit there after COVID. So, and it also does open up choice for students with providing a few more electives, and that is only a 0.4 position, so it's not a huge ask to come back to the high school. So I would agree with Ms. Squire around that. The principals have kind of worked at this and have come up with numbers for you that really is like our priority in order to keep services available for our students at all grade levels.
How many students are in the world language classes? I think my son has about 30 kids in one of the classes.
They do. They have about, I
class
think
size is really
Spanish
high.
and French, one of the largest might be 32.
Is foreign language the kind of class that should have giant classes?
It got cut.
Yeah, no, I'm asking.
No, it was from
I
a
hear you say
reduction,
it.
yes.
Yeah. But world language should not have classes that big.
No,
No, that's not optimal for the kids.
No, it's not.
no.
I
It
can
is.
attest.
I want to make that point.
Yeah,
This
no,
is
some of
not-
this is just, we
Yeah,
wanna
no,
make sure
sometimes I
live
ask
it.
questions because we're gonna talk about it.
Right.
I do want to say thank you. I very much appreciate that the principals work together as a cohesive team. I very much appreciate the teamwork that you guys put in. You did it last year, you guys worked together within your schools, and I very much appreciate that, so that when you do come to us with a unified recommendation, there's a lot of confidence in that recommendation. So I do, thank you guys.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
Could you talk a little bit about the bridge program and the teacher that, and paraprofessional?
Yes.
It's critical need, I'm not disagreeing.
Okay.
I'm just wondering if you could share a little bit more about that.
I
and
can.
The chain reaction that happens when that's not available to students.
So over the past 3 years, we've had 2 reductions at the high school for special education. One was a TLC program that's being split right now and serviced by our interventionist, and then we had our bridge program that was cut last year. The bridge program is for students that may have been in a separate setting in the middle school, but have the ability to attain a diploma in the high school, but need some significant support. So we made a reduction in that position.
Where did those students?
Those students were juggled between the special educators that we have in the building, covering their IEP and their C-service delivery grid, not as effectively as if we had a bridge teacher that was able to dedicate themselves to those 7 students or 8 students in order to work forward. And so by having that extra bridge teacher, it kind of alleviates some stress for classroom teachers also, because we go to the expert of the bridge in order to make modifications and accommodations. So that takes that weight off of the classroom teacher. And students are better supported, and now we're getting kids to be able to get a diploma that may not have in the past.
Is that, is it just the high school or the middle school as well?
Just the high school bridge.
So do you anticipate middle school students also needing that specific type of learning moving up? Like there'll be more than those 7 or 8 that you were talking about that got dispersed?
Yes,
Among,
I do. We have 2 sub-separate in the middle school, and at the 8th grade, we have transition meetings for the high school to determine what path those students should be more successful at. And now Bridge is not an offering that we have to offer to those students.
so those students will move up to the high school and still not really have a true place where
They will be
can
what
getting all their needs met.
we call a tweener, right? In between, not quite here, but not quite there, so let's kind of service with what we have.
Which is not ideal.
Do
No.
students
At all.
phase into and out of the bridge program, or do they stay in it for the duration of their high school?
It's a great question. It is a fluid program. So if we have a student that we knew was on a graduation track and they've flourished in the high school and their developmental skills have improved, yes, they graduate out of the bridge program. Other kids go into the program that weren't in there when we placed them in 8th grade. So it's a fluid moving in and out.
So there might be a handful of students in it at one time.
There might
or
be a
serving a large amount of a larger.
Exactly. Or we might have a move-in, or we might have a student that, we thought was gonna be more successful than they were in the inclusion program, and then we have that program as their least restrictive environment that we can place them into the high school.
And as Mr. Santry reported on this, the financial consequences of that is if we don't get the support that those kids needs, we're just gonna be paying for out-of-district placements for kids that can't get what they need in this in-between that they're put in. Which also goes for Turkey Hill and the primary school. It's just a chain reaction, so if they're not getting their needs met where they are, they're going to be sent out of district because we can't service them, which is just gonna add to cost, much more cost.
And is not optimal.
It is not
for
cheap.
the student.
And it is not
optimal for the
No.
student, no.
One of the questions that, my microphone's down. One of the questions that students, the public has asked is about the STEP program.
Yes.
And if one of the assistant principals, should they both be full-time, could run the STEP program and be an AP, would that be a viable option?
Could you just, being newer to this, can you remind, so the STEP program is the, like, internship program that
Exactly.
they offer, right?
Yeah.
And so who runs it now? I don't know that.
Alexis, our health teacher runs
Our
it.
health
So
teacher,
it's, so it's
okay.
like a class that's
Yeah.
assigned to a teacher. in our
Okay. Oh, so they have a class as well?
A
and
STEP
they
class.
And then they help you with your,
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So you check in with them, there's requirements for that piece, that's the person that's in charge of that.
How many students utilize that?
I don't have those numbers off the
Like
top of my
rough?
head.
I mean, like, is it?
It varies year to year, but sometimes it can be over 20 and sometimes it can be a little less than that.
Okay.
Yep.
That's, okay.
do you have to be a senior?
Yes, I believe so. Thank you.
Can I ask a question to both you and Chris? How much is eliminating the coaching model gonna save us?
It's going to be more of a grant savings than it is an actual budget savings, because the majority of that salary is grant related. It'll cost us around $10,000 for the restructuring if we move the math coach back onto the teacher's contract. She'd be making more as a teacher than
Okay.
she currently is.
That's interesting. But in your opinion, you don't think that's gonna impact the student achievement numbers?
And I don't think it's going to impact the student achievement numbers. I think we were very fortunate in hiring Dr. Safdie, who's back there, who has an amazing grasp of the standards and literacy, and I think she'll be able to fill in some of the gaps that we have.
Okay. Can I ask a question about coaching in general? Did the teachers like the coaching models?
We got split reviews on the
Okay.
coaching models, and it was through no fault of the coaches. It was actually, I would say, a district level rollout problem. I don't think we, from what I've heard and from talking to people, is that we didn't roll it out very well at the district level, and so people can never quite see the value in having that coaching model.
Okay, so if we discover that we are missing it, eventually someday it could be added back in with a
Better rollout?
better rollout.
Yes.
And hopefully more teacher buy-in.
Correct.
One of the questions we got, and I sent it to you, is about the ELL position. In the past, I remember the discussion basically being, we put the people where the kids are. Do you think there's any need to do building assignments for the ELL teachers now?
Actually, without knowing their levels, doing the mathematical equation, there's 71 ELL students, and they're stationed or placed pretty much between all three campuses. So it would make sense for next year to have a teacher at primary, a teacher at Turkey Hill, and a teacher at the middle high school.
Okay.
Awesome. Because we have 2 now, and you're recommending 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
Imagine there are needs that arise.
That's also gonna depend on.
I just want to say that it's also going to depend on the access scores and what comes back with what the students need.
Can you tell me
Because
what access scores are?
it's a way that they link. Thank you, Tim.
Say it again?
It's late.
It's a language acquisition test.
So it helps us determine where the student's strengths and weaknesses might be and where they fall on a number scale of 1 to 5 on getting more proficient with English. And so.
fall under you?
So, depending on where these students score on access, you may have a cluster. So like there were a couple of years where there really weren't a lot of students at the high school.
Right, I
For
remember
example.
this, then we like.
And so to have a student, to have an L teacher dedicated for the middle high school, if we have a year or 2 like that, isn't effective. Whereas if we have a bubble of students that are at the primary school, we may need more than than one. So I still want it to be, it's not gonna be as cut and dry, I don't think, it would be great for it to be cut and dry to one per building.
That's why I
But
said the simple math, because
simple math would be.
the amount of service time that students get varies as a result of that access score. So a newcomer, a student that's at level 1, at level 2, requires much more support than a student that's at level 4 or level 5.
And I think the principals can attest to our EL staff currently, and they have ever since they've been here with me. They do a really good job near the end of the year for giving placements as far as which kids might be good to be clustered together in a classroom teacher. So it's not just a free-for-all, drop in a hat, Johnny, Susie, Joey ends up in X, Y, and Z classes willy-nilly. It's really thought out as to where their levels are, which ones may be placed. And in some cases, principals can honor that, and in some cases, they don't. But at least they do have that information where we do try to cluster them to a certain degree.
I don't even know, why would you do that?
Because, for example, if a second grader, if there's 3 second graders, and they're spread out between 3 classes, then the L teacher is gonna have to be in every single class. Whereas if they were clustered together, if there's 2 or 3 and they're clustered together in the class and they're about the same level, that's maximizing the bang for our buck, right? And also them having a group to be able to work with.
The ELL teachers pull out though, right? For like.
No.
Not at all?
No.
How does that work?
No, not
Like,
always.
they do some.
Ideally, it would be great for us to get to the point where we could have a separate class, especially at, say, the middle high school level for our level 1s that come in, level 1s and 2s, where they have no English language, right? It would be great for them to have a class that could be taught. We don't have that capacity to be able to do that right now. So most of the work is pushed in. When we pull out, a lot of it is for that reteaching stuff or pre-teaching. But most of it is still pushed in though. I think so.
It's a blend of both. Depending upon the level. So
I mean, it's beneficial for them to be in the class with
It
kids
is.
that are speaking
For some of our
fluent
kids,
English.
if they are.
But I would assume that, in my mind, I would think they would be pull out as well, just to, like
If
you
they're
said.
new to the
review.
language and have no English skills, some of that is pull out, getting some basic language instruction that doesn't match what's happening in the classroom. But as their language acquisition grows and their ability to understand English and use English grows, it's beneficial to have the EL teacher in the classroom working with them on speaking in the class, on classroom vocabulary, on relating to stories and comprehension, communicating with their classmates. So depending on the student level, the amount of time in or out is going to be different.
And also working with the general ed teacher, right, to show what strategies might be more beneficial for the students, because the L teachers can't be there all day long.
Right.
And then it's up to the general ed teachers to make those accommodations.
And I think it's important to notice that we need another L teacher, because right now kindergarten is not serviced by an L teacher.
How many kids are in need of that service?
There are, so currently, because their DIBEL scores are low, they're being serviced by our interventionist. And it's a consult, so the L teacher will consult with the classroom, but the kids aren't serviced directly through the.
And are they on IEPs?
No.
No.
How many kids in kindergarten?
I don't think we can ask.
Oh, okay. I just,
There might be too few.
yeah, okay. That's really hard to hear. I didn't know if there were kids who weren't.
It's just in kindergarten though?
Just kindergarten.
That's not.
Preschool as well.
Oh, preschool as well.
Yeah.
I think this discussion highlights an issue that I've been trying to highlight with the No More Cuts.
Yeah, this
part is we have swaths of students that are not being serviced, are not getting their needs met. And it's hard I imagine it's hard being a building leader in this district and knowing that your student has needs and knowing that you lost 2 positions in 2 years that could be fulfilling those needs. As a superintendent, it really is incredibly frustrating that I can't give my principals what they need to support teachers, to support students. And that's why I'm so adamant about the fact that we can't sustain cuts and we need these positions. We need our kids to get services.
Yeah, I'm not feeling great in this seat.
We're all,
Right.
yeah, we're all
Knowing that
parents here.
We're failing.
We're feeling it as well.
I know. There are so many, like, we've discussed so many, I mean, these are, like, I wanna make it clear for people listening, like, these are humans we're talking about. These are like literal children who exist right now who are not getting what they need. And that's difficult. And I mean, I'm feeling guilty because we had so many cuts last year because we didn't go for an override. And now kids they're not getting what they need. This town, we're letting them down.
Yeah.
So hard. Okay. What else do we need to cover in the?
Any more budget stuff we want to talk about?
Yeah, what? I feel like
So can we talk about next steps? Just, I think that's important to me. So, as I'm new to this whole process, and we're a little bit earlier than we usually are, which I'm very happy about. Thank you very much for all your work so that we can have this conversation right now. You know, eventually we will have a budget that is based on the town manager's number. Is that sort of what will happen? So the town manager will eventually give us a number
Yes.
of what she is expecting our budget to be under. But we've already given her this, which is great. Usually it happens the other way around. So she will already be able to look at what we're asking for. Will we vote on it before that? Do we want to do a formal?
My hope is that we vote on a school committee budget prior
To the town manager.
To the town manager.
Okay.
And then get the town manager's number and then work through the tri-board process.
Yeah.
About, because there is only so much money.
Right.
And then work through the tri-board process about whether there's other means for
Yeah.
raising and appropriating funds.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then coming to the tri-board, I'm sorry, with a proposal already, that we're not working on that proposal through the tri-board.
Correct.
There will eventually have to be another budget that will meet the town manager's number though. Okay.
Yeah.
So when do we do that?
Right, so she won't be able to give us that number till after the governor's budget, which is in the end of January. Sorry to interrupt you, right, but she won't know what and understandably, if she doesn't have a finance director, she's gonna have a hard time with some of the projections she's been needing as well, like excise tax, and they did just hire a planning director, I think, so, but that's a big part of it, right,
Yes.
because it's property tax bills.
Yeah, so part of the reason I'm suggesting doing this differently
Yeah.
than we have before is because we will be waiting a while for the town numbers through no fault of anybody's,
Yeah.
just what the circumstances happen to be. And I think that if we can remain united and start to build momentum now for what our kids need, then we will ultimately be in a better space when the conversation turns to raising and appropriating extra funds.
Okay.
Will we get a spreadsheet breakdown of or when will we get a spreadsheet breakdown of both the budget that you'd like us to vote on, and then probably later, the one that meets the town manager's level?
We can definitely work on that. The problem is what I want to,
I guess, is that a level?
What I want to avoid happening for us is that we, forgot what I wanted to avoid because of the microphone. I want to avoid needing the budget that has to be loaded in munis, because that is a whole heck of a lot of work. And I want to avoid having the 48 rainbow colored spreadsheets because I think that's how mistakes are made and things are lost.
Yeah.
So I want to continue kind of along this path where you're seeing the categories, each category where we're spending,
Yeah.
and then interrogating us about what goes in there without having to see each individual line item itself. Only because if we're doing 3 versions of the budget, we'll be able to tell you where we are actually cutting from. So it's going to be different than the process has been in the past.
Thank goodness.
Okay. But we'll still do a spreadsheet with breakdowns and like looking at percentage rises, because
Yes.
I'd like to know if things are, it's very helpful to be able to compare and see that, I'm not even sure what, I mean, there was, computer services have gone up exponentially, things like that. But I do understand that the level of specificity in the past was, first of all, that's not how a school budget always works, because we have line item transfers and because our needs change throughout the year. But I would still like something in the middle.
Yeah, no, and what we can show you is the percent changed in the category.
Yes.
Year over year.
Okay, and then, explanations.
And then explanations.
Surprises.
Yeah.
Even things like, we hadn't budgeted enough, I think, was it electricity or heat, with the urging of the previous town manager. And that's important information to know that this has gone up because the actuals were different.
Absolutely.
And I know that finance committee is going to want the actuals.
Yeah.
For every year that we have them, and they love that.
Yeah.
And it is important too. I also like to see where we budgeted incorrectly, and I know that you looked at that too, because this is your first year doing this. Okay.
Yeah, many of those questions Chris could probably answer for you now. I know I'm not going to ask him to answer them for you now.
He could.
He's given that look twice.
Yeah.
Once when I asked him an inappropriate question about an override, and now.
I guess my question is, when it comes to the town manager's budget, is that a budget that we want to discuss before or after an override vote would take place?
Well,
I
we
know
have to discuss it before.
I know in some towns, they don't make the cuts until after an override fails.
By the time an override happens, it'll be too late.
Yep.
And so I think we want to discuss it before, because then we can talk about the cuts that we have to make and the impact of not having the override.
But we lose teachers the amount of.
My understanding too,
we lose people when we say, if this vote doesn't go our way, your job is being cut.
We're not going to say that this year.
Okay, so how would that work?
So we are going to talk very broadly about we need to cut this much money, and not so broadly about people. And my understanding is we got pretty specific about which positions and which people last year. And we can't do that to people. It's not fair. And we need to, as soon as we say that and we get to that point, we need to then talk to the teachers and let them know how that we're advocating for their positions, and let them know the strength that we're trying to put behind our asks.
Okay, so what would a budget that we vote on for the town manager's budget look like? It would be very broad categories, and how specific would the categories get?
Yeah, it'd be that spreadsheet.
Okay, so we're not, because that was just not fair to people, and I think we lost good people
Well, I
as a
don't
result.
think we did,
Because
definitely. And I don't think it was fair for the committee for you to be making those decisions. I really think the team that you have in this room is the team that should be coming to you with the recommendations.
Yeah.
Not that I don't love you guys, and Emily is a fantastic educator, but the people with the knowledge and the expertise are these people.
Yes.
And I rely on them. This isn't my budget, this is truly our budget that we're talking about right now.
Laura, I did inquire about doing an override earlier, and my understanding is that you need a higher threshold. at town meeting.
That is why.
And that is why, because I would love to do it before.
I was gonna push for
But our
November.
town meeting is also set in our, I
Charter.
spoke to Jen about this like months ago. Our town meeting is unfortunately set in our charter, and it's the first Saturday in May or something, I think it
Yeah.
says. So there's no like playing with that. There's no,
That is why I was gonna push for an override for next year in November.
Right.
Because I think that this process is extremely stressful for every single staff member, because everyone, the amount of stress that we put our staff members under last year and the year before. It's not sustainable, it's not fair, this is not the way to employ people, this is not the way to run a school system, this is not what's best for staff, it's definitely not what's best for students. However, a November town meeting, the threshold for a positive vote was so much higher.
It's a lot higher.
67%.
Yeah, it was, I think it was the 2/3.
Yeah.
And that would have made it far more difficult, so strategically, it's best to wait to May. However, I'm not happy about it, but that's.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think,
Yeah. Otherwise,
it is what it is, but it would have been better if we could do it earlier.
Yeah, but that's how it works, unfortunately.
And I have promised school leaders that they will not be having to talk to their staffs alone, that I will be there. I've really worked to create an atmosphere where teachers feel heard. This year by holding budget town halls, getting their suggestions, their thoughts on this proposal. Teachers' thoughts are included in this proposal as well. Chris and I did budget town halls at each school prior to doing this too. So it's really been a very different process in creating this budget.
And I appreciate how involved the teachers are too, and the emails we get, and I don't know if other towns are like this, that the teachers are so involved.
No.
Special to this.
And let us know what's going on and.
Really invested in our kids.
Yeah, invested, they really care, and it's just.
We're so lucky.
I very much appreciate that, even when we get emails that vehemently disagree with what we've said or done. I really appreciate that. Okay, so I thank you for this report, and thank you for how conservative the ask is, even though it's a large number. I do worry that we're not asking for enough.
We could triple that.
This is the bare minimum we can get away with, I think.
Yeah, and I think I'm gung ho to ask for an over. People knew that when I started, but I want to make sure we're planning well for a few years, because there was so much discussion the last few years about having, only one shot at it. I don't totally agree with that, but I do think we need to make sure that we're making a good 3-year argument to the town too. Not just the town officials, I don't mean them, to the voters, right? That we're not going to be every year, and we can't control everything, right? But we are not gonna be, it's not always gonna be a 1 year, sort of, every year kind of thing.
Because that's unfair.
It's unfair to them.
It's unfair to the voters, it's unfair to the taxpayers.
Yeah.
Right? And we need to be able to do that 3-year ask.
Yeah,
that
and some
3-year
stability.
projection. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, so let's do this. Let's go down the line. Is there any other comments you'd like to make? Questions, comments, anyone?
No.
Mandy?
No.
Lauren? Chris? Dr. Fortuna?
No.
Any of the subject matter experts sitting in the back?
Thank you guys for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Always speaking up
Yes.
for your people and students.
They're awesome. That's one thing I said I didn't have anything else to say.
No.
That's one thing I hope the town of Lunenburg realizes, having been in different places. I have never seen a group of teachers more dedicated or more passionate about what they do, even if we disagree. Their passion is there, and we all want the same thing for children.
That's great.
All right, so let's move on to old business, the Q&A for 25 budget. Do we have
I think that's for the public to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the public.
Is there anyone here? Excellent.
Is there
so-
anyone Liz on Zoom?
Yeah, that's what she's checking.
No. All right, and,
So I did drop a statement into I had Liz dropped a statement into the folder, because I know last meeting we had talked about having a public statement about the 25 budget. So,
Did we already release this?
we didn't, so we had a draft.
Okay.
You guys had given me some feedback, 2 weeks ago. And of course, right before the meeting, I took the feedback that I had. And so I personally think we should post this somewhere. This does not have to be the final version of it, but post it somewhere, send it to the Ledger. I heard another public group recently talking about the budget, and I thought misstating what happened. So I think we really need to have something in writing. So so I'm happy. I can't really take feedback from you guys outside the meeting. I don't know.
I know, that's very frustrating.
Yeah, I know, so I don't know what we wanna do. I don't need us to sit here 20 minutes and wordsmith. I don't know, I would be comfortable with Dr. Fortuna or Tony if you take
do
the
you think
state.
does it violate the open meeting law if we, if Mandy sends it to me, I send it?
Yeah, it's Daisy Cheney.
So why don't, I think what we could do personally is we could just send our feedback to
Dr. Fortuna.
Dr. Fortuna.
Okay, let's do that.
And then, Tony, I would be fine if the statement came just from you. Like, we didn't vote on it, it's just like the school committee chair says.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Or we could vote on some version of.
Right.
I think you should all vote on it together.
Okay.
I think unity and that togetherness is going to go a long way for us this budget season.
I would agree. All right.
So should we accept it as now with edits forwarded to
Slight
Dr.
edits.
Fortuna, or do you
Yes.
wanna wait? Because I think we should do it now, not.
Yes, I agree. Let's get
I-
this out as soon as possible.
Did you guys have a chance to read it? Okay, I move to make official our statement from the Lunenburg School Committee regarding the fiscal year 2025 budget variances, pending any necessary edits that don't change
The themes.
tone and message too much.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. The only thing that I'm gonna add, Mandy, is
Yeah.
I'm gonna add a part about the budgeting in the public sector always involves a surplus.
Yes, absolutely.
Just
I
so
think that's
people are
important.
clear.
I think it says that, but however you wanna,
Yeah.
And also, I just thought of these two things about greater accountability. If there's anything else you think we should add there,
We're doing these, yeah, this is good.
um,
Thank you for doing this.
yeah,
You did a great job.
You can be my spokesperson anytime I get in trouble.
thank you.
Okay.
You could be my lawyer.
All right, let's, I think you may have a better, more qualified.
I don't know, he probably can't represent his wife, so.
Depends what she did. Conflict of interest.
Let's go on to the next agenda item, which is comment on stuff for this meeting. And I don't believe is there any comments, Liz?
No.
Anybody have comments here? Anybody here? Have we talked this to death? Do we want to do our reports?
Do we have to reassign because Mr.
Hopefully we don't,
What's his name?
let's limp into 2026.
Well, he was our finance committee.
Right. We'll,
appointee.
well, if we don't have somebody
So-
soon, we'll do it. I'll volunteer to do it.
Do we want it? Okay.
That'll just make it easy. If we don't have somebody soon, I'll go do it. Subcommittee reports?
I don't have any.
Mandy?
We have these great blankets we're selling from the PTO, they're $30. We have some left. Pickup is tomorrow, but if for some reason you can't be there, if you buy it online, you pick it up tomorrow. If you don't, I think we might have 20 left or so. Send me an email and I'll figure out how to get it to you.
Please remind me.
THS parking lot?
Yes.
After school till
Yeah.
5:30.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're beautiful, I've seen them in person, they're really big
Are
and
they
soft.
as bright blue as they look in the picture?
I haven't seen the Lunenburg ones yet. I saw a sample that was, but one of our members saw them out and about somewhere and was like making all the kids, middle schoolers just wear blankets. We sold a lot to middle school parents, I think.
In their pajamas.
Yeah, in their pajamas. And then we also have Saturday, we're doing SpongeBob movie. I think there's a few tickets left for the
Is it too late to
SpongeBob.
sign up?
I don't think so.
Not?
No, I think there's a few tickets left. We're getting close to being sold out, so,
I have to say, I've done the movies more than once. It is a phenomenal experience. The one that we did that I remember the most was the Mario movie.
Oh, we sold so many tickets with the Mario.
There were so many people singing the Bowser song. It was just incredible. It was like going to watch the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It was like the best.
It is really fun for the kids because it's only Lunenburg kids who are there. We rent it out, and they're like can sit with their friends and they can eat candy at 10 a.m.
They sang that
You know.
in concert.
I know.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
The Ballisters.
So thank you to all the PTO. Oh, and our special someone dance. If anyone wants to sponsor us, I forgot, our special someone dance, which is our biggest event of the year, is the first weekend in February, and I'm taking sponsorships. Thank you to the businesses that have already agreed to sponsor us. This will be our 4th annual. We've sold out every year. We sold 800 tickets, so it is a big deal.
It's pandemonium.
It is literally
It
a
really
social
is.
event.
Yes, the first year we only had 400 tickets and we had a lot of angry parents. So now we do 2 events. We do a 3 to 5 for the little kids. We do a 6 to 8 for the older kids. I mean, you can go to either or, there's not, but that's sort of what we market it towards. And photos by Jen will be here and she does pictures if you want pictures with your special someone. It's really a great event, so. I know, this will be the last year, I have a 5th grader, so I have a little one too, but the 5th grader, this will be the last year. He probably won't wanna go with me, but I'll make him.
No, I asked my son if he wanted to go. What for? So I don't think he's into it. Okay, so we had the high school committee met on yesterday. We talked about our consistent enrollment numbers and the need for an intervention teacher and a lot about the budget, and IXL and the bridge program, and that was about it. There were some updates. That was really about it for the high school. And then I got to tour the greenhouse, which
Excellent.
was great.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it is amazing in there, and yeah, if you have a student at the high school, I think the horticulture classes look amazing. It's a whole bunch of student projects in there. It is full of plants.
That's
And I forgot to ask Mr. Santry, when do we do the plant sale?
So I think that's in May.
In May?
Before the spring musical.
Okay.
Yep, and then for like 8th grade graduation, I believe there's still plans there too.
Okay, so in the spring. I forgot to ask you that because I think that's a really neat event that we can push out to the community. Oh, and that was it for the last 2 weeks.
All right, you did the high school, I was in the.
Oh, I did the middle school,
Oh,
sorry, not the high
I was
school.
unable to make the high school,
I went to the primary school, but.
subcommittee, or the high school meeting, and we have not had a meeting of policy subcommittee. So, I think that's the end of the reports. Do we have any topics for future discussion?
We need to sit down with Mr. Beardmore and talk about the track.
Yes.
At our
Yeah.
next meeting or when he's
Yeah.
available, the next meeting we have that he's available.
Yep, okay. We can
Oh,
make
and
that-
I do wanna ask the town, but I know the town is in they're doing a lot of turmoil finance-wise, but I do think we wanna find out about if there's any borrowing capacity that is not related to overrides.
Sure.
Remember, we talked about
Yeah.
that. What would you suggest I do? Should I just write Jen an email?
Yeah, I think we should talk to Jen and Cesar.
Yeah, just because about some of the like bigger projects we have that may not be, like we were talking
It
about.
also
but-
might be helpful to reach out to Chris Bernard, because he might have a better insight.
Okay, I will put that on my list, so.
All right.
Okay.
It is 9:20.
I mean, that's not too bad.
Motion to adjourn at 9:20 PM. Good job.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
All right. Happy holidays, everybody.